What's going on, YouTube? It is Mike from the Hardcover Comic here. Hope everyone is doing well, staying safe, staying healthy. Today we're going to talk about 5 space opera sci-fi books, cosmic adventures, whatever you want to call them. Great space setting books with futuristic technology or alternate dimension technology that sort of makes crazy things possible, right? With sort of a basis in science, let's say. So we got 5 of those here. These are probably my favorites, I'd say my top 5, and there is a lot to choose from, so I apologize if I don't mention some of your favorites in here, but if I was to recommend 5 sci-fi books, these would be it. Let's dive in. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We post content regularly, reviews, overviews, hauls, stuff like that, top 5s like this, live streams, all that fun stuff. Hit the notification bell. YouTube should let you know whenever we go live or post a new video. It should, but doesn't always. If you're interested in winning a hardcover comic for as little as $1, check out our Patreon. There's a link down in the description below for more details, but we do giveaways, hardcovers, omnibus, absolutes, deluxe editions, digital codes throughout the month. It's a lot of fun. So check that out. There's also a link down there for Dr. Squatch. They are one of our sponsors. They're fantastic. They're a soap and men's healthcare and grooming product company. With the link down in the description below, you will get free shipping on your order. So every month, whenever you get your soap, shipping is completely free. So check that out if you're interested in that. They have new scents every month. A lot of really, really fun stuff. Dr. Squatch is awesome. But let's talk about some cosmic books. Book number 1, probably my favorite sci-fi book, and definitely the most beautiful sci-fi book that I have in my collection is The Meta Barons. This is by Alejandro Jodorowsky and Juan Jimenez doing the artwork. This is what space epics are all about. This is the epitome of it. This is the best you can do when it comes to space epics is Meta Barons. It follows this clan of characters that starts off as calling themselves the Castikas, which you don't really get too much. You don't get all of the details in this story. There is a separate story that was done called Castikas, specifically following sort of what came before the Meta Barons. But here we get to see the end of the Castica reign and the start of the Meta Barons. And basically, what the Meta Baron is he's sort of the ruler of his family, of his clan, and by tradition, typically you become the Meta Baron by being the son that kills his father, the Meta Baron. And so you sort of see all these generations of Meta Barons overcoming that challenge and with various twists and turns along the way, things you do not expect to happen, all extraordinarily illustrated by Juan Jimenez. Some of the best comic book artwork ever, especially sci-fi artwork. It's absolutely stunning. If there's any way to read this story, it's in this slipcase edition. I don't know. I haven't checked prices. It's been a while since I bought this book, but if you were able to pick it up while it was relatively cheap, that's still like 100, 120, 150. Good for you. It's a stunning book. It's absolutely lovely. I love it. If you can read the Meta Barons, though, there's plenty of other versions. You can get it in trade paperback, standard size hardcover, all sorts of different versions. So be sure to check it out, though. It is probably the most epic space book you'll ever read, but it is definitely not for kids. Very graphic content. It's awesome, though. The second book I wanted to talk about was sort of it was a tough choice for me to make. It's a Rick Remender book. It was between Black Science and Fear Agent for me. I love Fear Agent. I love Heath as a character. I love the story. I like Tony Moore's artwork. I love Jeremy Opeña's artwork, of course. Beautiful, beautiful work in that book. But there's something really fun about the craziness that comes with Black Science. It's a little crazier. And I do like Matteo Scalera's artwork a little more than Tony Moore and Jeremy Opeña. But anyway, Black Science, a Rick Remender Image comic series that is still ongoing. I think they're in the 40s or 50s now in terms of issues. There should be a third hardcover, as you can see here, coming out later this year, if not early next year now at this point. But it's an incredible sci-fi book that follows this character named Grant McKay, who has created this device called the Pillar. And the Pillar essentially lets him travel through the Eververse, which is sort of a he's traveling through the multiverse in a way, sort of, but a multiverse with a middle to it. It's very interesting. It's a little twist on that sort of, again, dimension hopping idea with really great characters. You don't like all of them. You definitely hate a lot of them. It's a classic Rick Remender book in that way, in which, the characters aren't all very likable at all, but at the same time, he finds moments of weakness that get you and make you compassionate towards these characters. But it's fantastic with amazing artwork by Matteo Scalera, these great fantastic 2-page spreads, just showing really crazy ideas, really fun, fascinating alien ideas. Right from the first issue, it's frantic. It's beautiful. It's very chaotic, and it's also a very emotional ride as well. I really enjoy Black Science. Again, Fear Agent. If you like Fear Agent more, it's pretty much right up there with it, with Black Science for me as a sci-fi book. But I love these two premiere hardcovers. I think that's what they're called, oversized. I don't know, oversized premiere, whatever. It's the best way to read them. Yeah, it's great. I can't recommend Black Science enough. Absolutely love it. Saga, the story that'll break your heart, and also make you laugh. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry from laughter and cry from sadness. It's a Brian K. Vaughan book with the artwork by the exceptional and incredibly unique Fiona Staples. Saga is a absolutely beautiful space opera. Borrowing ideas from books such as and stories such as Romeo and Juliet. A little bit of Star Wars in there as well. It's a really incredible experience. You get to see a lot of fascinating characters with a universe that's rich and diverse and exciting and unique. A lot of sci-fi books can get repetitive in their ideas, but Saga's beautiful in the sense that there are really fascinating and creative ideas, really perverse ideas. It's really fantastic. Brian K. Vaughan always manages to surprise me. The story follows these characters, Alana and Marco, who are from opposing factions in this war that's happening between a planet and its own moon. And basically, they have a child named Hazel, and poor Hazel is growing up in this world where she's this hybrid creature who's wanted by both sides of the war for their own personal reasons. And they're on the run. It's this family on the run. You get to see Marco's parents. You get to see what happened with Alana growing up. You get to see them, Hazel grow up. It's such a beautiful story with 52 issues at this point. I believe it's 52 or 50. Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples have said it's the halfway point. But it's been, I think, a couple years since we've seen an issue, and the cliffhanger it ended on, unfortunately, begs for more content. It's a heartbreaking ending. This is in a way a disappointing book because it's not really done, and I really want it to be done. I know a lot of people really do, but it's an incredibly fun and unique sci-fi story that's maybe a little less sci-fi, and like I said, a little more space opera, space odyssey, fantasy, but still really fun with some fun ideas and great cliffhangers, incredible cliffhangers. Definitely graphic as well. Right from the start. I mean, just look through the first few pages of issue 1. As a parent, you'll know it's not for kids. But I highly recommend it for adults out there looking for a fun book that's going to make you feel things, but also be incredibly fun at the same time. This next book I want to talk about is very short. It's 2 issues long. Each issue is about 48 pages, so about 100 pages, on a rounded up 100-page story called Rock and Stone. Honestly, I don't know who this was published by, and unfortunately, I'm off the top of my head, I don't know who it was written and drawn by, but I will put all that stuff on the screen here. It's a fantastic little story about a boy who basically lives by himself on this on this dystopian planet where things have not been going very well. There's people are very scarce, and machinery has taken over really for the most part. It's got sort of an apocalyptic vibe to it, but essentially this boy lives by himself. He's running his own little shindig, and a robot comes up to him, and this robot is not automated. It's automated. It's not piloted by a human, but someone is remotely controlling it. And so you sort of see this boy join the robot on its mission to find a base. The artwork is absolutely beautiful. Again, it's kind of a barren wasteland, the universe that you get to explore, but at the same time, the detail's incredible, the coloring is spectacular, and the designs are really fun. They're cool. The characters all look really cool and great, and you can really tell what's happening in the universe without it being explained too much, just by looking at the artwork and seeing the environment and the surroundings. And it's a very emotional story, a very heartwarming story. About, again, a boy and this robot, and the secrets behind the robot, and the secrets behind what has happened to the planet at this point in civilization. It's very interesting. It's very short too, which is why I wanted to toss it in here. I've been talking about these longer stories really, and Rock and Stone is a great little two issue story that you can bang out in one day. It'll be a great little ride. You'll get a whole story really quickly with beautiful artwork. So I highly recommend Rock and Stone. Last but definitely not least is Rye. Now, I know you're thinking, Rye, it's a comic published by Valiant Comics. It's a superhero story, but it's not. It's not. So the cool thing about Valiant Comics is at times, while they do have this shared universe, and at times these characters do cross over in each other's stories, really it doesn't feel like their books are superhero comics. So here you've got this character Rai, and Rai is essentially a nanite-driven AI sentient being. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. It's the epitome of sci-fi. It's the year 4001, and there's basically the world has been left behind, and New Japan has arisen from the world. New Japan is run by Father, who is an artificial intelligence that was created and essentially decided to create this New Japan and have it leave Earth and become its own thing, just orbiting the Earth's atmosphere, floating up above there. It's got a whole bunch of floors, millions of people living there. It's incredible. It's an incredible world, a really fascinating idea. And in the 2012 reboot of the Valiant universe, Matt Kindt did a Rai series that ran for, I believe, 16 issues tying into this event called 4001 AD. And working with Matt Kindt throughout this whole thing was Clayton Crane, who did all 12 issues of Rai and the 4 issues of 4001 AD. And the remaining 4 issues of Rai, issues 13 through 16, was done by Kano, who is also magnificent. I love Kano's artwork. I'm going to put a whole bunch of it in this part of the video because it's so damn good. So like I said, that's the gist of what you're getting. In 4001 AD, you're sort of getting the ramifications of what happened in the Rai story. The Rai story, the main thing that happens at the start is there is the first homicide in, I think it was like a few centuries or something. I forget the exact date, but that's what starts everything going. That's what gets Rai sort of riled up in this investigation, and things spiral out of control from there. You get to see a whole bunch of characters, and again, it really feels like a sci-fi story more so than anything superhero related. There is an incredible action, of course, but again, you're talking about a samurai, nanite-driven artificial sentient being, humanoid. It's amazing. It's high level sci-fi. It's fantastic. And in 4001 AD, you get to see what has happened. You get to see the history of Rai and previous versions of Rai, which you get to see in further series of Rai. But anyway, I'm just talking about this one. It's fantastic. I absolutely love it. Matt Kindt and Clayton Crane destroy and shatter every expectation with this series. It's magnificent. As a sci-fi fan, it's a must read. I know it comes under the guise of a superhero company, a publisher, but really Valiant Comics does not do superhero comics. They just do incredible, really sci-fi stories at the end of the day. But I can't recommend Rai highly enough. I think I can't get enough of it, man. It's so good. But that's it, folks. 5 of my favorite sci-fi space setting stories in the comic book medium. Let me know what you think of the 5 choices. If you've read any of them, let the folks know what your thoughts on them are as well. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know down below. I'm always happy to check out new titles. If you guys enjoyed this segment too, I may do another one. There's always more sci-fi to talk about, of course, but they won't be my 5 favorite stories. But either way, thank you all very much for tuning in. I hope everyone's been doing well. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. YouTube will let you know whenever we post a new video or go live with one of our late night spontaneous streams. Check out Dr. Squatch for any soap and men's healthcare and grooming products that you may be interested in. They are a subscription service, so it'll come right to your door every month without you thinking about it like clockwork. You can just change whatever scent you want or whatever product you're getting. Just change it up once in a while if you want to. And check out our Patreon. We're doing hardcover comic giveaways, omnis, absolutes, whatever it may be. It's really, really, really ramping up. It's going to get crazier and crazier. Hopefully multiple giveaways within a month. Digital codes should be starting back up now that comics are starting to get released again. So really, really fun stuff happening at our Patreon, the hardcover comic. Check out the link down in the description below for more details on that. But until next time, thank you guys again for joining. This was Mike from the Hardcover Comic. You stay classy, Internet.